There's a story of a man who I talk about how these people want you dead. But most importantly, and it as it pertains to this conversation, I talk about teachers and how teachers are like, man, how can I say this in the most respectful way? Well, they are the propaganda wing of the state. Okay, like that's for sure what it is. They're the propaganda wing of the state. And I mean, even though we recognize that there's a big problem, be it in not just with the administration element. I'm talking about actual teachers, teachers unions. They'll never, rarely, no, I won't say never, rarely will they admit that they're part of the problem, because they think that they kind of are most, I don't know who's more sanctimonious, teachers or nurses. Good question. But no, I talk about how these guys have started wearing their politics on their sleeves. You want to know why? When you look at how crazy people have been acting over the course of this last year, and you wonder, like, wow, how are these young folk going out doing this, and that? Well, you got to understand, what camp have they been put through? Who is teaching them from K through 12 on the university? Who are the ones that are influencing them? Well, look no further than that public education system. The education system in general. Outdated mess that it is. Funny story. I read Native. In 2019 National Teacher of the Year, Rodney Johnson apologizes after joking. Of course he was joking. About the attack on U.S. Senator Rand Paul. Let's read further. It's coming from ABC News, local news there. Richmond, Virginia. 2019 National Teacher of the Year and Richmond native Rodney Robinson has apologized after making what he called a bad joke on Twitter, referencing the attack on Republican U.S. Senator back in 2017. In a since deleted tweet, Robinson called the Republican Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell's neighbors to step up. Senator Paul was attacked by his neighbor. You remember this? He was mowing his grass. He snuck up on. I think Rand came out of that with like some broken ribs and stuff too. Paul reportedly suffered. Here it is, right here. Six broken ribs and underwent surgery to remove part of his damaged lung. And this is what the Teacher of the Year had to say. Who are Mitch McConnell's neighbors? I'm just saying, Rand Paul's neighbors did what a true Kentucky hero should do. It's your turn to step up. This isn't a fucking joke, man. So let's get that out the way first and foremost. This ain't a joke. Right? He believed this. Now, it was like, I don't want to say sarcastic. It's one of those like, hey, but he believes this. Like, he looks at it like that was a good thing. And they say it all the time. I've done videos about this where Rand Paul says something they don't like and they say, props to Rand Paul's neighbor. Why? Because they want violence inflicted upon you for disagreeing with them. Now, Mitch McConnell's an asshole. I have no desire to defend him. But what it does, it doubles down on the idea that that's permissible behavior, right? People don't like you. You get to use violence on them. That's how they feel. And there was an instance in which that happened to a guy, which is like weird because Rand's one of like the few guys who's not a piece of trash, right? Or less of a piece of trash, like the lesser pieces of trash in Congress, because, he would even say a lot of things that a lot of them would disagree with, agree with. But they don't care. He's got an R next to his name, and he doesn't want, or he argues with Fauci. Therefore, he's the fucking enemy. Now, this has, of course, Senator Paul's wife here. Oh, I didn't even know. Of course, not only was he Teacher of the Year, 2019 National Teacher of the Year, he has pronouns in his bio. Interesting. Looks like he put his account on private. Said, I made a bad joke yesterday referencing the Rand Paul neighbor fight and Mitch McConnell's neighbors today. I apologize for the joke, and I don't advocate violence against anyone. No, you're apologizing because you got heat for it and national attention because of what you said. Had that not happened, we wouldn't even be discussing this. In his apology letter, Robinson said that due to his ignorance on the situation, he did not know that Senator Paul was seriously injured in the altercation. Oh, okay. So basically, you can whoop someone up or fight them or do what needs to be done and physically harm them. It's just if they're severely injured, there's a problem. So you just need to rough them up a little bit. I apologize for making light of his injuries. I do not advocate for violence against Mitch McConnell, Robinson wrote. I was 100% wrong. I find Mr. Robinson's apology to woeful, inadequate, and disingenuous. Says this is coming from Kelly Paul, his wife. He continues to describe the 27 blindside attack on Rand Paul as a fight and an altercation, which is completely false. Mr. Robinson initially responded to critics of his repugnant call for more violence on our senators by calling them conservative bots and implied that they were only criticizing them out of racist intent. That's always what you got to do, right? You get called out, just claim racism. Works 60% of the time, it works every time. It was only after overwhelming condemnation on Twitter that he deleted his tweets and made his page private. I maintain that this man has absolutely no business teaching young people, which I would agree with that 100%. His tweet certainly doesn't have the tone of a joke. It is clearly hateful in intent and dangerous. Robinson spent most of his teaching career as social studies teacher in Armstrong High School of the RPS system. So was that Richmond Public School System? He held a teaching job at Vergie Benford Education Center, a school inside Richmond Juvenile Detention Center. He was the first Richmond public school teacher to be named National Teacher of the Year. In late summer, RPS announced they were hiring Robinson as a senior advisor, leading the school's system's efforts to develop initiative for male teachers of color. So this is type of bullshit that they're doing in your public school system. RPS Superintendent Jason responded to the situation, thanking Robinson for his apology. RPS doesn't condone violence of any kind. Was he fired? Or is that fine? Like after the backlash, Robinson's original tweet generated many Twitter users questioning his advocacy record. Robinson responded to them in his apology letter, asking them to do more research on who he is and what he stands for. For those who challenge my record in advocating for kids, I invite you to do more research on who I am and what I stand for. I have over 20 years in education, working with underserved and underrepresented populations of children. That doesn't absolve you of shit. Click on several blogs that I wrote, speeches I have given, interviewed 1,000 students, families, educators, and community advocates I have built relations with around the country to get a true picture of who I am. I will always advocate for children in America, no matter the race, sexual orientation, gender, religion, or physical ability. Now, again, I don't know how much this was yesterday, so I don't know how much of this has developed and if he's still having a job, if he's still employed. But, you know, we've discussed on the show and, you know, all these examples of these teachers having these really, really polar political positions. And it's scary because they're teaching mass amounts of people or very influential in that regards. And it seems like they have a near similar, almost near exclusive leftist, mainstream leftist talking point of view, political position, right? And this is, I've criticized conservatives on this. These crackhead ass conservatives had a great opportunity and still do a great opportunity to take the biggest axe that they're probably going to ever take at the public education system. And instead of doing that, what have they been advocating? Getting the kids back in school. It's a rotten thing. Right. And I'm not going to tell you how to raise your kids. I will just say that my kids will not be in a public education indoctrination camp. It just is not happening. And I believe that's where the fight is to be. The war, it has to be fought if we're talking about helping the future. Because so as long as that institution exists, who is the most, we talk about decentralization, all these subjects that we've discussed. When we talk about getting the government out of the way, what institution is most protective of that idea that the state needs to be involved in this, and that? They need to be funding it, meaning they need to be stealing from you to fund it. It's academia. It's the education system. And now more than ever, we've seen that they're more activist than they are anything. It's a rotten system. And this doesn't surprise me. It doesn't surprise me at all. These people are insane like that. But here we are, where I don't see that he's lost his job. As of today, it does not seem that he's been fired. Now you can imagine someone saying some shit like that to, like, on the other side, and they better be followed. This, I guess, you can just advocate for violence. I think it's okay for people to beat up other folks, and from an involuntary standpoint, not like a boxing match or something. And that's fine. You get to work for the public school system.